Now, let's get into our first discussion of the day. Now, ahead of the 2023 elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission is setting its eyes squarely on the bank accounts of politicians and political parties contesting for this position. Now, according to the INEC Chairman, Prof Mahmood Yakubu, every candidate will be mandated to turn in their bank account statement to ensure all monies moved in and out are accounted for and prevent vote buying, especially on the day of election. He also mentioned that this process is for all economic class to ensure equality and transparency. So that's the crux of our discussion next. And joining me via Zoom is Public Affairs Analyst Bola Oba. Bola Oba, good morning. It's good to have you join me this morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you today?
Great. The day is fine. I hope you are enjoying the Hamatan the way I'm enjoying it here too. All right, let's get to the crux.
I'm actually in winter, not in Hamatan.
Oh, so you witnessed your Hamatan and your winter. Our Hamatan is our own winter here, but it's fine. It's really nice. Okay, so the point there is the trends and the development in politics now is getting a lot of Nigerians commenting on moves by the authorities as to ways to check all sorts of irregularities and everything that will make the election not to go the way it's supposed to go. Now, the latest of this is the issue of the possibility of checking bank accounts where politicians, political parties, candidates are going to turn in the account details, account statements. First of all, what do you make of this from the overview of it?
In the backdrop of the plutocracy, that is the government for the wealthy, that the Nigerian civil governance, I can't even afford the luxury. I can't even afford the linguistic luxury of calling it a democracy or a liberal democracy. In the backdrop of the plutocracy that is now enveloping the Nigerian civil governance environment or milieu, it seems a nice development. Any critical mind, any body with a modicum of intellectual persona would want to see an effective policing of the campaign finance system in Nigeria, more so because the electoral system in Nigeria is somewhat rigged in favor of those with deep pockets. That is the initial reaction that I had when I saw the news report. Having said that, the cynical reaction that came up was such that how is this going to be policed? Especially because INEC seems to be punching far and above its capabilities in terms of policing this incessant abuse of the electoral system. Why am I saying that? The INEC is neither the Nigeria Police Force, INEC is neither EFCC, INEC is not ICPC. I wonder if INEC has the machinery to dovetail and chase the nimbleness and the nifty nature of these characters. So that is one. On the other hand, when I was thinking about it, I came to the conclusion that I hope INEC, unbeknownst to INEC, that INEC would not in a way be helping those who hold the advantage of incumbency. Why am I saying that? If today a state governor who is contesting and has the control of, say, the touts on the roads collecting money from transporters, if he wants them to be directly deploying that money to the machinery of his re-election campaigns, how would INEC know that? That money wouldn't ordinarily pass through his account. That money wouldn't ordinarily pass through a system that INEC can examine or periscope into forensically. So the person who has the power of incumbency, or the person who actually controls some powerful interest in the state or in the constituency, can articulate the use of such interest to launder money into his or her campaign program at the disadvantage of those who, let me put it in a very simple way. If INEC had been this aggressive in 2015, APC may not have emerged as the opposition party that became the first opposition party in Nigeria at the federal level to win against an incumbent. The reason is that APC would have been under such a searchlight by INEC, would have been cowed, because the funds that APC articulated to arrange to finance the campaign that brought them in would have been mouthed by the instrumentality of INEC and the power of incumbency, using the machinery of the coercive agencies of state. So I think, so I've actually posited 3 positions for you now. Seeming very good, ostensibly, the cynical me believing that this is another charade of a sort, and the critical me thinking, you know what, this may ultimately be an instrumentality that may be used positively, that may be used positively by the incumbents against the opposition.
All right. One would say that, of course, INEC is an umpire at an election, deciding who gets what, when, where, based on the people's choices that they have made at the ballot. But overseeing all of that process, and they have often talked about the issue of the need for INEC to have some level of teeth, and INEC to also have some level of independence. Now, we see that all of this, suggestions here and there may be ways of trying to give clout and teeth to INEC. But talk to us basically, what can make INEC stand out in all ways? Because Nigerians are still looking forward to that INEC that will totally, of course, they say INEC is independent, but a lot of people still have the feeling that it can still be more independent as we get along. So talking from the window of total and exclusive independence of INEC, what would it take to achieve that, and how would that play out?
One of the operational lacunae that INEC may confront is actually residual in the organism that INEC is itself. Why am I saying that? Look, INEC is a child of the Nigerian Constitution, because the Constitution actually enunciates the existence of INEC. So we know that INEC, apart from being a child of the Constitution, is also operationally dependent on the Electoral Act. So in a way, INEC is founded based on the provision of the Constitution, but operationally dependent on the Electoral Act. And we know that the composition of the executive arm or the governance arm or the management of INEC is somewhat rigged in favor of an incumbent president. Why am I saying that? The incumbent president, who is a partisan, you must remember that, because the presidency of Nigeria as a constitutional institution is actually meant to be filled by two partisans. One, principal, that is the president, and two, the vice president. They, as partisans, chosen by a political party, would campaign, and when ultimately they win, would assume the presidency. So you have a situation where somebody who on the one hand wears a partisan hat will be choosing the head and the principal officers of the elections management body, that is INEC. So you have a contestant, or you have somebody whose interest, as the president is presently is, who may want to protect his legacy, who may want somebody who will further preserve and push his legacy to succeed him. You have him as the appointer of the chairman of INEC and the nominator of the principal officers of INEC. Those are the INEC commissioners. So if you really do a cursory examination of the composition of the governance infrastructure of INEC, you would want to come to the conclusion that, there's still a lot to be done in that respect. And having said that too, INEC is dependent, allowing for the ratification of the legislature. INEC is dependent on its finances, dependent on the executive arm of government, especially at the federal level. And when you say that, he who pays the piper, you can best help me finish the proverb.
Obviously dictates the tune. All right,
stop making fun of me. Stop making fun of me.
Well done. All right, now the point is, the 2023 is already by the corner, and we can already see the drumming of activity here and there from various political parties, alignment, realignment. A lot of people have said that, well, it's too early for all of the activities going on. But in the political space, a lot of people feel that, in fact, since last year, a lot of things on the ground have been going on. When it comes to the timing and all of that, what do you make of the activities now? Because from comments and from activity, a lot of people have concerns that these activities and comments will begin to hit the polity 1 year ahead of elections.
It is inevitable. It is inevitable because in the kind of a semblance of liberal democracy that we're practicing, partisan activities, especially in the last year of the quadrennial, that's the four-year term, partisan activities in the last year would naturally be more pronounced. And I'm not surprised that we enter 2022 in a manner that is a bit more relative to the previous 2-3 years, that is a bit more agitated, partisan political wise. So for the next 12 months, and especially the first 2 months of 2023, when the elections will start rolling in, my brother, anybody watching me this morning who has interest in Nigeria, or those who live in Nigeria, welcome to the cacophony. Welcome to the season of cacophony of the politicians. Oh, so sorry. That was a slip. I wanted to say politician.
All right, Bolaba, we have to leave here now.
Stop making fun of me. I will fight you.
No problem. Sorry, we heard you. All right. I heard I can ask one more question before we go. Now, taking us back to INEC, a lot of people are still concerned that there are so many milestones that INEC should have covered using this time. That amendment is expected to be made to the Electoral Act. Now, when we talk about strengthening INEC, you talked about the independence earlier on, but what other areas should we begin to expedite action? Because some people feel that the movement is quite slow. Some of these things, but INEC itself has said that they're ready. Even when it comes to diaspora voting, INEC have said at one point or the other that they are ready for all of these things. What do you make of these?
To be honest with you, your last question is so interesting because you have a number of issues compacted into that question. One is what should INEC be doing, notwithstanding the fact that they are ready. Two is the issue of diaspora voting. Speaking from London, and having been in London for a couple of weeks now, and relating with Nigerians, one of the issues dearest to Nigerians in the UK diaspora, especially given the fact that these people send home a lot of money with which the Nigerian economy is powered beyond the anemic governmental expenditures that run the state. You must remember that our diaspora sends home between 20 to 25 billion US dollars every year. That is a lot of money in any currency. And because these people send home that much, they also want to be actively and organically part of the process that produces the rulership of Nigeria, the leadership of Nigeria. They feel outdone by and they feel shortchanged. That INEC is saying that INEC is ready is one thing, but we know that it is actually the functionality of the electoral law to allow it. And as it is now, the National Assembly is sleeping on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. That in itself is very disturbing. Having said that, if you want me to suggest what I want to be seen done, especially in the backdrop of the expectation that the two chambers of the National Assembly ought to do something expeditiously to get the president to sign the Electoral Act Bill, Electoral Act Amendment Bill that's been sent back to them. What I would rather want to see is technology, because the advantage of technology at this juncture across all the gamut of the processes necessary to conduct a free and fair election, the advantage of technology is that it leaves that digital trail that could be tracked if an aberration or an abuse has been effected, and we see that majority of those who are in government are a bit reluctant, notwithstanding the fact that they took advantage of technology to be able to defeat an incumbent in the use of technology in our electoral process. So if you ask me, technology. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really spot on, and we look forward to all of these things as we get along. Thank you so much, Balaba, for joining us on the program. And I hope you're enjoying.
It's a pleasure to be on your set.
Great. I hope you're enjoying the winter.
You can see my seeming strange sartorial disposition.
Exactly. You're very ready.
A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead. Bye now.